Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
And look, Jake made his first start against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he was fine. He wasn't great. He threw a big pick in that game, but I think relative to what you expected, he was fine. I think what was really in the crosshairs after that game was, well, they didn't run the ball that effectively. They didn't run the ball all that much, and the coaching staff didn't do Jake Browning any favors. The last two games, I think they've done a great job of giving him a chance to succeed. They have used the running game. Now, okay, every team wants to run the ball, but they've run it differently. They've used Chase Brown, a guy they drafted from Illinois last year, who didn't carry the ball at all against Pittsburgh. He's been featured the last two games, took a 54-yard screen pass to the house in the game against the Indianapolis Colts. We've seen more variety to their running game. They also, I think, against Jacksonville, if you watched that game last Monday, you saw a coaching staff that said to Jake, all right, we're going to throw some short passes, get you comfortable, and then over the final three quarters, we're going to let you unleash the football and throw it wherever you want and throw deep and make plays, and he did that. What they have done has been, I think, nothing short of miraculous. If you watched Jake's first start when it felt like, God, this offense, it's going to operate in a phone booth and nobody's doing him any favors. After the Pittsburgh game, which was Jake's first start, everybody counted them out, and now here we are 2 games later. They're 7-6. Jake is playing well, and the slate in front of them involves 4 teams that either have backup quarterbacks, bad quarterbacks, or in the case of Patrick Mahomes, crybaby quarterbacks.
How about that?
Okay. Yeah. Well, you're an AFC.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Who? Easton Stick? That's a hockey stick. Easton Stick. Or at least it was at one time. And Aidan O'Connell? These guys aren't even household names in their own house. This is not, and not to mention both teams are 5-8. AFC West battle. Give me a reason, Darren, to watch this game.
I can't.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
How long did that last? Hi, everybody. Welcome to a Football Friday. Get on up inside. Welcome to your favorite daytime sports talk show. We're coming at you live, I think, on Game Plus Television, on the radio down there in Atlanta, WQEE, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live. It's a little thing we call Football Friday. Let's bring in the Moose, Darren Moose DuPont. Not that we're the Weather Network, but Moose, as you can see over my shoulder, 3rd straight day of gale force winds here in South Florida. So I've battened the hatches. I'm good here. You're indoors in Toronto and ready to talk ball. And listen, I'm going to tell all and sundry. This is why I was a little annoyed on Thursday when the CFL schedule came out, because we had a plan. Believe it or not, we do have a plan. We had a plan for a Thursday show. It was a lot of NHL. Today, I'm more than happy, and you'll see it reflected in our quick 6 show topics here, to talk CFL schedule, NFL games, college bowl season, Curtis Rourke transferring, whatever you want to talk about gridiron related. I'm here for, Moose. But before we jump into those topics, there's one thing I wanted to mention from the hockey vein, and I'll give you a lot of credit. I thought of you a lot last night. Because Ken Johnson, we're going to start with hockey very briefly. Ken Johnson capped a 2-goal effort with the overtime winner as the Columbus Blue Jackets held off a late Toronto comeback to top the Maple Leafs 6-5 at Scotiabank Arena. The Jackets led 5-0 going into the third before the Leafs scored 5 goals, including 2 from Austin Matthews in the final 75 seconds for Matthews to force overtime. You called it. You saw it coming, didn't you?
Yeah. I know. Just like that. You know, you kind of lackadaisical go through the game and do your thing. And now they put a lot of shots on and, did some good things early in the game, but not really. I mean, you let Columbus jump out to the 5-0 lead, and then it's like, oh, they're better than we thought. If they're a pro team, maybe we got to actually play here. In the third period, then it's zing, 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 and Matthews hits down. Okay, we got our point. Move on. Let's do better tomorrow. That's kind of how they.
I'm sure you were thinking of me too, and my assertion that the Leafs play only as hard as they have to. and that'll only get them so far. But that happened last night, and if anybody wants to know why we love sports, and I doubt anybody watching or listening does, because that's why they're here. But Columbus last night made NHL history. Is the first time in NHL history, first team to blow a 5-goal lead in the third period and still win. They made history last night. And then I had a little funny thought of what happened in Vancouver. Thatcher Demko stopped all 36 shots he faced. He earned the shutty as the Vancouver Canucks defeated the Florida Panthers 4-0 on Roberto Luongo night at the Garage, if they still call it that. And I just want to say this. I went and read the quotes from Paul Maurice after the game. And he was like, there's a handful of things we do well, none of which you've seen the last 2 games. And I kind of, in my mind, got a funny thought, because I like him a lot. But he's basically saying we weren't ourselves. And I'm thinking, well, if I was a Panthers fan who paid $500 for a ticket, it says Panthers on this ticket. Who are you? That's who I thought I was paying to see. We're not ourselves. Oh, okay. So, but again, Serena and I were joking about it. You can't put any stock in what the coaches say. You shouldn't. Why did I even go read the quotes? Panthers coming into Edmonton Saturday to have our way with the Oilers. Okay, can you hit the quick 6 show horn, please? Tuna. Director Tuna. Now, Moose, you're going to have to give me some help here. You and I both poo-pooed the Thursday night game last night, and then it ends up being a record over in the NFL. The Las Vegas Raiders scored 42 points by halftime and rolled to a record 63-21 victory over the Los Angeles Chargers. The Raiders led 42-0 at the break, just 3 points shy of the NFL record for halftime margin that was set in 2009 when New England led Tennessee 45-0. And you probably remember, but here's my thing. I'm like, Kim, watching the Leafs game, probably should flip over to Amazon Prime and see what's going on in this Thursday night game. I'm like, it was 21-0, like right around the end of the first quarter. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Now, I flipped on over to the Oilers and Lightning and then the Wild and the Flames. I didn't stick on it. But can you please tell me what your take was and if Brandon Staley still has a job or should he? Do you have thoughts on the Thursday night or did you watch any of it?
I saw the quotes too, and I saw the some media in the on Twitter saying this is what it looks like when you quit on a coach. When a team has quit on a coach, this is what it looks like. And they're referring to Brandon Staley. Some wondered if he'd come out of the tunnel to coach the team in the second half, if he'd get on the plane to go home. I assume at this point they're going to let him coach out the year and then find a replacement in the offseason. I assume that's going to be the plan unless something's dropped this morning. But that is, I mean, in all phases of the game, the Raiders just dismantled the Chargers, scoring on defense, scoring on offense. It was something. And no, I didn't stick on that game for a long time either, but long enough to get an idea of what happened.
Ryan in Toronto writes that he says the coaching change is inevitable for the Chargers fans after that domination by the Raiders. Yeah, but they've been talking about firing Brandon Staley for the last 3 years. Like, I'm sure it'll happen now or like at the end of this season. I just don't get it. They're wasting Justin Herbert. And I understand he didn't play last night, but it really is too bad. Jackie's highlight video says, I can't wait to hear Rod's take on the CFL schedule. You might have to wait until hour 2 for that, Jackie, and I hope you're not disappointed by it. I'm going to move on to the next one. It's NFL related. Point 2, Bill Belichick might just be the most nimble person on the Patriots roster after he managed to dodge question after question on his future with the team this week. Speculation was rampant Tuesday from an Adam Schefter report saying the legendary coach will be out at the end of the season. Asked at least 3 times at a press conference ahead of this week's game against the Chiefs whether he'll be back next season, Belichick would only respond that he's thinking about this week's game. Frankly, I love it. You know I don't like Belichick. I'm sure he's probably a nice enough guy. Most of them are, I swear. But the time has come, and everything has a shelf life, and I guess I'll ask you, because do you think he'll coach in 2024 in New England? What do you know about this story?
Yeah, I would, if I had to venture a guess, I would say his time in New England is done at the end of the season. I thought all along that the move would be to remove the GM duties and let him just coach and let somebody else worry about bringing in and finding talent. But that's how the Patriots have ran. They've ran one person rules the show when it comes to football, and that was Bill. And then other people ran the business. It was one. Most teams have a GM and a coach who kind of work together on building the team and creating a style of play and all the rest. But now it's interesting because LA with the Chargers is going to have an opening. Where else will have openings? A lot of times you don't let go of a coach unless you know that there's going to be an improvement, a better replacement. Well, now that teams maybe get a whiff that Bill Belichick is out there, maybe a fresh start makes some teams on the fringe decide to move on from their coach. But the other one that came out last night was Jim Harbaugh, the Michigan coach, is going to coach in the Rose Bowl against Alabama. They're talking about him potentially being a perfect fit for that Chargers job. Like Southern California, obviously a lot of history there, and with San Francisco. So expect a lot of movement, I think.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine? Here we are. As long as old women sit around and talk about old men, and old men sit around and talk about the weather. The rumor season is here, which reminds me as we move on to point 3. And by the way, on Belichick, I don't know whether he's going to be back or not, but I should ask Robert Kraft's sister because we share the same hairdresser here in Boca. Maybe she's got some intel that her brother told her. Point 3, Canadian quarterback. This all ties in together. Canadian quarterback Curtis Rourke has transferred to Indiana University for his final year of college eligibility. The Oakville, Ontario product spent the past 5 seasons at Ohio University. Their brother of former BC Lions quarterback Nathan Rourke was the MAC Conference's most valuable player in 2022 last season when he threw for 3,256 yards and 25 touchdowns. I think this year he was a second-team All-Star. So let me think about this for a second. I tweeted this morning this story with a link to our website, rodpeterson.com, and I said, number 1 CFL draft prospect Curtis Rourke. My phone blows up from people saying, no, he's not eligible anymore because he's going back to school. And to be honest, I was like, I don't know. I'm not a scout. I'm not a personnel guy. And that's where people need to understand. We're not the insiders. We're the view for sports fans, okay? I'm not asking Whoopi Goldberg for the inside on the Russia-Ukraine invasion. Like, do you know what I mean? We're just going to sit here and talk about it. I don't know the inside. So I got my stable of football guys, and I got some hockey guys. So I called a football guy this morning here in the States. I'm like, what is up with this? He's not eligible now? He's like, no, that's new. Because for years, we had heard of drafting a player in football, and he could either forgo his final year or start playing pro or go back to school. That's not the case anymore. How new is that? Are you aware? I didn't know.
I'm not confident enough to know the CFL side of it. But in the NFL, yeah, once you declare for the draft, you're done. You can't go back to college football. You're finished. So once you declare for the NFL draft, and I would think for, Curtis's situation, I don't want to say that he took a step back this year, but the numbers definitely indicate that it was just an okay year. Didn't light it up, dealt with a bit of an injury in the middle of the year, didn't put up impressive numbers. He is going to one of the All-Star games, or he did apply for one of the All-Star games coming up, which is a big showcase for draft-eligible players. But I think you go back to Indiana, you enter the portal and go to Indiana to take a shot to put up better numbers, put yourself in a better position for the National Football League draft. And I think that's what's happening here with Curtis.
This is why we have the analysts like Jim Barker, who's coming up next to talk about why these decisions are made. Because Indiana was 3-9 this year. He can completely maybe remake the program. But the poll question today for Key Auto Group is this. At the Key Auto Group, by the way, you can buy with confidence knowing that they provide reports on all vehicles they sell. Get fully informed about your next vehicle by going to keyautogroup.ca. The poll question is, will Curtis Rourke ever play in the Canadian Football League? Will he ever play in the Canadian Football League? He is now not eligible to play next season or be drafted in the CFL nor NFL. Fair? Okay. I do have a fun bowl season thing, but I think I'll push it to hour 2, which is incidentally when we'll also play NFL Deal or No Deal, because a lot of CFL fans came here to talk today. Nobody does the CFL coverage better than us. That's a fact. And here we are. Point 4, the CFL will kick off its 2024 schedule with a Grey Cup rematch. It was announced Thursday. The Grey Cup champion Montreal Alouettes will open the campaign visiting the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on June 6th. The Alouettes defeated the Blue Bombers 28-24 in this year's final at Tim Hortons Field. Scott Milanovich makes his debut as Tiger Cats head coach the following night as Hamilton faces the Calgary Stampeders at McMahon Stadium. It could feature the return of Bo Levi Mitchell to the Alberta City, but his status for this season is unknown. The opening week of the 2024 season will also feature Saskatchewan facing the Edmonton Elks at Commonwealth June 8th. In Corey Mace's first game as Riders head coach, and the Argos will entertain the BC Lions at BMO Field on June 9th. The Ottawa Redblacks, after an opening week bye, will host Winnipeg on June 13th. So Jackie in Lethbridge says he can't wait for my take on the schedule. Here is mine. I never got that excited about it, but I'm not narrow-minded enough to not realize everybody, the fans are excited, the teams are excited. I get all that. My thing was, as a guy that traveled with the teams, I'm like, we're going to play our 8 games either way. We're 72 in hockey, this many on the road, this many at home, this many against each team. Where we need to be and when, let me know. That's not what I don't really care about all this. The one thing I heard out of Saskatchewan where you have to appreciate it is the second coming of Christmas or the first coming of Christmas when the Rider schedule comes out. I get that, but they're complaining that 5 of the 9 home games are on Saturday afternoons. You understand the national pastime is complaining there. And a lot of the retailers are pissed off because it absolutely kills summer shopping with Saturday home games. I don't want to talk about it. I want your take on this little nugget. Ruminate on this. The way the CFL has become, and it's not the coach's fault, but with this CFL salary cap on coaches, you got head coaches performing coordinators' duties, and it has hurt teams. Where we've heard it's hurt Calgary. With Dave Dickinson's GM and head coach, he doesn't have time to do both, and look what happened to them this year. Edmonton, I heard the same thing. Look where their defensive stats were. Chris Jones is the GM, head coach, and defensive coordinator. Look what happened there. And let's just for a second think about who was in the Grey Cup. Winnipeg. Head coach Mike O'Shea here, and then coordinators Buck Pierce and Richie Hall. Over in Montreal, head coach Jason Maas. I think we have Anthony Calvillo calling plays on offense and Noel Thorpe on defense. Do you go along that the teams that have identified coordinators have a better chance because there just isn't enough time? It's too big of a job to ask the coach to be a head coach and a coordinator on one or other side of the ball. Over to you.
Absolutely. I don't think that a coach can't call plays. I mean, it's, I don't know the ins and outs of Montreal. We think Jason Maas was actually calling a lot of the plays. Anthony was the offensive coordinator up in the booth. But I'm sure that it was kind of a group effort, at least when you're looking at the week, putting a game plan together, getting people in position. If Jason Maas has to deal with something head coach related while the team's on offense, Anthony Calvillo can come in and pick up any duties that Jason might be doing. So it is different. Like, I can imagine when you're a head coach, you kind of, during the practice week or whatever, you've got head coach things to deal with. You might not have as much time to deal with your unit. So I don't think it's a coincidence that the teams with head coach and separate coordinators, it's just more minds, more help, more knowledge, more expertise. I don't think that's a bad thing.
So look at your teams now, CFL fans, going into 2024 season, and who's got a head coach that's also being a coordinator, and does that put your team at a disadvantage? Moose, we got messages here, but I'll save them for later. I'll see you in hour 2.
Sounds good.
Barry in Powell River, BC. We'll get to your comment later. I've received it, and I do have an answer for you regarding your Vancouver Canucks. You Canucks fans are all the same. But get your questions in now for Jim Barker. He joins us next, our football analyst from the CFL on TSN. We are live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
All right, a Football Friday continues, and God bless Daytime Sports Talk Live. I appreciate Phil Kershaw alerting us to it, and the LA Chargers announcing it. Now 14 minutes ago, the Los Angeles Chargers announcing we have parted ways with head coach Brandon Staley and general manager Tom Telesco. This in the wake of the historic 63-21 loss to the Vegas Raiders last night on Thursday Night Football to kick off Week 15. So we got a lot to talk with Jim Barker about as we bring him in from the CFL on TSN, 5-time Grey Cup champion, XFL champion, and a lot of other things. Coach, the inevitable happened with the firing of Brandon Staley. I'm sure you're not shocked by that news today.
No, they could have done it at halftime. That 42-0 to a team that didn't score 3 days or 4 days earlier. It was just, they played with nothing. And, you know, they'd had Justin Herbert all year, who was one of the, you know, a top young prospect, and their whole season has just been bad. So they might as well cut. I was surprised they let go of Tom Tedesco also at this time, but they're probably, you know, they're going to go out and try to find that one person, and you know, it'll be interesting or that person to be the GM, then go hire the coach. I'm guessing that's what they're going to do, but you never know. Because the Raiders, they're probably going to be looking for something.
Yeah, as you know, you never know what goes on behind the scenes. So we got to move on with some rapid fire things. I would like, and I know our viewers would, your take on Curtis Rourke transferring to Indiana, what it means, why he did it, and what he's hoping to accomplish there by pushing his pro chances a year down the road.
Well, he's trying to accomplish what Michael Penix accomplished going from Indiana to the University of Washington. He's trying to go from the University of Ohio, which runs an offense. It's not NFL style at all. And he just wasn't, and he sees it with his brother. You know, he needs the time and that kind of a system. Well, Indiana fired Tom Allen, hired Curt Cignetti from James Madison, one of the top FBS programs in the country, or the smaller schools in the country. And Curtis will go in, and they're a pro-style offense. And Cignetti was actually a former quarterback. He's got a good staff. There'll be a brand new staff coming in. It's a good place for a guy in the portal to go, because they won't be attached to anybody. When you transfer to a place where they've got people there, they've spent a year recruiting, they've got people there that they like. He's going to a place that, he'll step right in, and he'll be probably the starter on day one of spring practice. So, it makes a lot of sense. He's going to be playing at a higher level. And again, just trying to up his NFL draft stock. I don't think it has anything to do with his CFL draft stock, but he's trying to up his NFL draft stock by going to a Big Ten school.
Any questions for Jim Barker? Fire them at me now, please. 902-518-3033 is the Sober Carpenter text line. Sober Carpenter non-alcoholic craft beers. Ask for them by name at your favorite beer, wine, and spirit store, or on the YouTube live feed. I'll just ask you this. Were you able to watch Curtis much at all this year? He was the MAC Conference Player of the Year 2 seasons ago. I think a second-team All-Star this year. So they're saying he dipped a little. What are your thoughts? What do you see for him?
I think he's going to be more pro-ready than Nathan was, more NFL-ready. Nathan, again, we watched film on him, and you couldn't see how his game was going to translate at the professional level. And again, obviously, when we went to the BC Lions, he proved how it was going to translate. Curtis is a totally different type of guy. He's he's 6'5". He's not going to run and move as well as Nathan, but he's still got the same kind of accuracy. You imagine he has the same kind of mental tenacity. But again, until you watch him in a different setting, it's going to be difficult to know. I think he's got a much better chance of being drafted in the NFL. Obviously, his brother was not drafted. I think he's got a much better shot at that, just because he's 6'5". He more suits what they're looking for. But I thought he's a pretty accurate passer. He's got a fairly strong arm. I think he's going to be an NFL prospect. How high he'll go, a lot will depend on what happens in his year at Indiana.
Well, I'll tell you what, I saw him live here at FAU. We were all very excited to see Ohio come to town, and you're right, he's not his brother. He's bigger, but he stood in the pocket. He didn't look mobile. He didn't look healthy. He labored around on that knee, and I'm like, well, this isn't Nathan, but he rallied Ohio to a big second-half comeback, and that's what he does, right? So I hope he's healthy, and he's just got certain things that are qualities that not everybody possesses. A special player. Kirk in Toronto has answered the bell, and he says, could you please ask Jim who he thinks might end up as defensive coordinator of the Argos?
Well, I've heard it's going to be internal. Again, I don't know that. And if it was internal, Kevin Iben is a possibility. Kevin's been there a few years. He would be a possibility. I've heard Jason Shivers, his name was brought up early, but I've heard he's going to go to Edmonton with Chris Jones, who's probably hearing a lot of what you and Moose were talking about. He's got to get some things off of his plate, and by getting the defensive coordinator thing off, I'm telling you, being a head coach when you've been a coordinator a long time and you're still trying to, I went from being an offensive coordinator, people forget my background, but I was an offensive coordinator, won 2 straight championships, had 2 straight quarterback MVPs, and thought I had all the answers. And as a head coach, I was a bad head coach to be an offensive coordinator for, because I wanted them to have their own offense, but to do things my way. And it was very difficult for them. So I wasn't very good head coach for an offensive coordinator. So it'll be interesting to see. This will be the first time ever Chris has a defensive coordinator. But Jason Shivers is a guy who's coached for him, and that would make sense if that in fact does happen. Again, it's all just rumor. In Toronto, that would leave William Fields or Kevin Iben, possibly Josh Bell. I've heard he's going with Corey Mace to be the coordinator in Saskatchewan. Again, these assistant things, they happen very, I don't know, they just seem to, a lot of them are done, but you don't hear about them. And so, again, if in fact it's internal, William Fields, or who's been in the CFL for quite a while now, or Kevin Iben. Again, either one is going to be a big change from Corey Mace. So it's going to be very interesting. I did hear also that Toronto's looking at some defensive line coaches, which would mean more that they're going to hire a coordinator from within and try to fill out the positions when Corey coached the D-line and was the coordinator. So the whole assistant thing is very interesting right now. And when you're behind the scenes, you hear about this guy's talking to these people and this guy's talking to these people. And, you just hear rumors about, young guys trying to get in. Andrew Harris potentially getting involved in coaching. Is that going to be with Toronto? Could that be with Saskatchewan, with Corey Mace? Chad Rimple, a good young guy who played for me and played 12 years in the league, who would be a fantastic special teams coach. He's in, he's trying to break in, and he's talked to 3 different teams. And, you hope that you see these young guys get an opportunity to do, to get into it, because it is a difficult thing. So in terms of Toronto coordinator, like I say, Fields, Iben, or I had heard Jason Shivers, but now I hear he's gone to Edmonton. So who knows?
Yeah. Our Jim Barker appearances weekly are brought to you by EMJ Marketing. Contact Joe at emjmarketing.com. They'll find you the perfect keynote speaker for your event. I guess while you're here, you are the CFL guy. Bowl season's coming up. Maybe we'll push that to next week. But because the schedule came out yesterday and everybody's so excited. I never was a big schedule guy. I'm like, just tell me where we need to be and when, and I'll be there, But as a personnel guy like yourself and a GM, how big of a day is it? Schedule release day?
Well, if they're all like this, it doesn't become that big a day, because this is the best schedule I've seen since I've been in this league in terms of a continuity. And I love the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all summer long. I think it's a fantastic thing that people know that 7:00 Eastern, they're going to be able to find a CFL game on those nights. And I know it's not convenient. Thursday games aren't always convenient for people, but again, a lot of people who have things in the summer, they have cottages, they love the Thursday night games. So, it's like everything. It's impossible to make everybody happy. I didn't see a lot of short weeks. I didn't see a lot of play Monday, play Thursday type things like they had last year with Hamilton having to do that. So I did not study it. I didn't look at it from any team. When you're with a team, you look at how many short weeks do we have, where are our bye weeks at, those kinds of things. I did not do that with any team. I looked at it and saw the Thursday through Sunday games all summer long till Labor Day, and mostly doubleheader Friday, doubleheader Saturday. We only have the one triple header, it looks like, this year. So again, I think those kinds of things are good for the league, and I give kudos to to the league office for getting it out. I know there's a lot of people think it should be out during Grey Cup week, but I like what they've done, and again, every team, it's back to a balanced schedule, and I think that's important. I mean, watching Hamilton and Toronto play is exciting, but watching them play 6 times in a year isn't. It's just not. It's just not right. So I love that they're playing every team home and home, and then they're playing 2 teams in their division 3 times. But there's no more of Hamilton play Toronto 4 times in August. I mean, that kind of thing is crazy.
Yeah, we're back to what when the CFL was great. Pre-COVID, it really feels like with the schedule. I got to ask you this, the last one. I think it's 41 bowl games, 41 or 42, and we're going to broadcast
43.
live next week from the Boca Bowl
It's
here.
43.
Is it 43? Okay.
Yes.
Is it too many, or do you like it?
I like it. I mean, is watching Georgia Southern against Ohio, is that an exciting game? Ohio doesn't have Curtis. These teams are all losing players that are either gone into the portal, so the coach isn't going to play them, or it doesn't mean they can't play them. Like, for example, Ohio State, McCord has gone into the portal, and supposedly Ryan Day is not going to play him. He's going to play a young guy. It's turned into kind of a spring game against another school. It's so hard to tell because there's so many players that are opting out nowadays. Obviously, when you get to the top teams, the top 4 teams that'll be playing the last 4 games, Alabama and Washington and Texas and Michigan, those teams, they'll all be playing, and that's a chance to do something rare, to win a national championship. For a football guy to be able to see all these games and one more chance to evaluate players, and for players who are seniors, a chance to show what they can do one more team. I think it's a good thing. I like it. I just went through and picked every game yesterday, and it's a lot of fun to look at, and you got teams at Jacksonville State with Rich Rodriguez as their head coach, is in their first bowl game ever. So you got games that people aren't going to care about. I doubt the ratings or even the stands are going to be full for a lot of these, but there's some really intriguing games. Georgia, Florida State. I mean, that's a great
Huge
matchup. It's just I think it's the
Bowl right
Orange
here.
Bowl, and to me that's a great matchup. And I can't wait till I think Georgia's going to win, but if Florida State wins, that throws more cold water on that committee that decided not to put them in. So I guarantee you there'll be 10 or 12 people, whoever's on that committee, rooting like crazy for Georgia.
Well, then at least if FSU wins, at least those players will get a ring. But I just here last year in the Boca Bowl, Liberty comes down without Hugh Freeze, without Ken Austin. I felt sorry for the kids. They got bombed by Toledo. So I think the way I look at it, just enjoy it for what it is. It is what it is. It's like you say, one more game, and let's be glad for that. Jim, thanks for this. Happy holidays. We'll chat with you in a week.
Okay. Thanks, Rod.
CFL on TSN's Jim Barker. And again, our presentation of EMJ Marketing. They'll provide the perfect keynote speaker for your event, including Jim Barker. Look up Joe at emjmarketing.com. We'll be back with a sports update. And before we go off the air in hour 1 today, a special tribute to the beloved John Frenzy, who passed away 1 week ago today at the age of 86. It's a Football Friday live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
All right, it is a football Friday. Doesn't that just scream football weather? It does to me anyways. Moose is with us, but we're not going to bring him in until next segment. That's when we're going to do our John Frenzy tribute. We're going to do a sports update here and then break. It'll give us more time for the Frenzy tribute next segment. But again, you gotta love daytime sports talk, man, not replayed junk. Coach Brandon Staley and general manager Tom Telesco were fired by the Los Angeles Chargers today after one of the worst losses in franchise history. The Chargers made the playoffs last season, but are one of this year's biggest disappointments. At 5-9 with losses in 5 of their last 6 games. They dropped into last place in the AFC West after Thursday night's 63-21 loss at Vegas. It was the most points allowed in franchise history, and the 42-point margin, the third worst. Staley, who had an overall record of 24-25 with the Chargers, is the third NFL coach to be fired this season, joining Josh McDaniels of the Raiders and Carolina's Frank Reich. It's the first time since 1998 that the Chargers have made an in-season coaching move. Telesco had been the general manager since 2013. The team only made 3 playoff appearances under his tenure and were 86-95 overall. Chargers firing Brandon Staley today. The Ottawa Senators are the lone Canadian team in action tonight in the NHL. The Sens carry a 2-game losing streak into Dallas. Ottawa fell 4-2 in St. Louis last night in the opening game of their 5-game roadie. The Stars are coming off a 6-3 win over Detroit on Monday. Meanwhile, in the NBA, the Toronto Raptors host the Atlanta Hawks in the second game of a back-to-back series at Scotiabank Arena. The Raptors snapped a 4-game losing streak on Wednesday with a 135-128 win over the Hawks. Atlanta has lost 5 in a row. Sports updates brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca. And also for Landmark Cinemas. In Landmark Cinemas now, Silent Night. From legendary director John Woo and the producer of John Wick comes this gritty revenge tale of a tormented father who witnesses his young son die when caught in a gang's crossfire in Christmas Eve in Los Angeles. Silent Night redefines the action genre with visceral, thrill-a-minute storytelling. I saw it, and, sorry, people texting me like crazy. I saw it, no spoken dialogue in the whole movie. Think about that. And it's still a shoot-'em-up, L.A. gangster gang thriller. So check it out and tell me what you think. I give it 1.5 thumbs up from the Monday Morning Goalie. Where is it? Barrie out in Powell River, BC, which I believe is the home of Terry Perkins, the old hot winger. 70-goal man with the Spokane Chiefs, former assistant coach of the Regina Pats. Anyways, Barry writes in on the Sober Carpenter text line. He says, "Hi, Ron." It's Rod.
Oh, no.
He says back in September, you had that hockey commentator Luke on, and he was rating the top Canadian teams. You, Moose, and Luke said that the Canucks weren't worth rating as they were going nowhere. Right now, they're leading all Canadian teams and look strong. How could you all get it wrong? By the way, love your show. Barry from Powell River. That's the, hey, nobody likes you, but I do. Thanks a lot, Barry. Number one. Number two, don't pull a Toronto and, dare I say, a Calgary and make these victory laps in December. Please don't be that guy. Don't be that fan base. I know you've won 4 in a row. I know you shut out the Florida Panthers last night 4-0, and I know Rick Tocchet says you got a long ways to go. That's what he said after the win last night. I know they're a different team, but to be honest, you're not the first Canucks fan to get in my face today. And the season is not even halfway over. And I think we felt this way about Travis Green. I think we felt this way about Bruce Boudreau. I feel the different feel, just like you. I've seen it with my own eyes when they came through Sunrise here. But don't be rubbing it in people's faces. Enjoy the ride. That other Canucks fan, who I won't name, but his initials are Kevin the Medium, texted me this morning, kind of rubbing it in my face that the Canucks beat my Florida Panthers last night. And I said, well, I hope they make the playoffs, Kev. And he says, well, for now, it just feels so good. And it is. You have the right to feel good. Keep it to yourselves and amongst each other. And if you end up going all the way in a deep run and winning the Stanley Cup, then come back and you'll have the floor will be yours. How about that, Clark? What do you think? What do you think? Did I do it right?
Bingo!
Just don't be another Toronto and another, dare I say, Calgary. That's the topic for another time. Moose joins us next. Our John Frenzy tribute is coming up next. We're live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Okay, here we go, everybody. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You let me know, Clark, when Darren's seated. When he's seated comfortably, we'll begin. I guess he's not yet. Jim Wagner, writing in from Balgony, Sask, says, good morning, RP Nation. Thanks for honoring John. He has a special place in a lot of people's hearts, including mine. That's coming up, our tribute to John Frenzy. Do we have Darren? It's a little unnerving to not know, I'm going to be honest. Okay, so yeah, away we go. I do want to read this from the text line, 902-518-3033. He says, Natasha in Winnipeg says, happy Friday. I'm with Jim Barker. This is the best schedule I've seen in many years. Have a great weekend, gents. Thank you, Natasha in Winnipeg. And I felt, in a way, bad because yesterday Natasha texted in all caps. I have it right in front of me. All caps. The CFL schedule is out. Let's talk about it. I'm sorry to break your heart, and if it makes me a jerk, I'm a jerk. But we had a whole show planned on Thursday, and because the CFL schedule dropped in our lap, we're not changing plans. Sorry. I got more than enough time to talk about it on Football Fridays. That's what we do. That's not the CFL's fault. It's nobody's fault. But we're not changing what we do just because the CFL dropped their schedule in our laps, unannounced. You just got to sit and be upset, I guess. I knew she'd be back today to talk about it, and here she is. Darren is here. You did a wonderful tribute. How long did it take you to put together this tribute that we're going to air in minutes? Don't be modest. Tell me.
It took a little bit of time, but it was worth it. It's fun to do. I mean, not always fun. I don't know if fun's the right word, but brought back a lot of good memories. Put it that way. I did enjoy it. So, yeah.
Jack Fulton writes in, he says, rest in peace, Frenzy. See, a guy named Josh just wrote into our Facebook, and yeah, you won't see it. Yeah, you won't see it come across the screen because it's on our Facebook. He goes, I really miss him being on your show, Rod. And I'm like, yeah, we all do. This is the other thing. There's a whole lot of people got to sit around and be disappointed because, quite frankly, if it was up to us, we'd have had John Frenzy up until last week, until the day that he died. But let's be honest, if you read any of the online tributes, John passed away, they say, because of complications with Alzheimer's. I hadn't seen John in not a full year, a good 6 to 8 months. The John Frenzy that you're all are about to see, that guy's been gone for a long time. So for those that say, bring back Frenzy, I miss Frenzy on the air, that wasn't going to happen. So as I said in my column last weekend, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. They don't make him like this guy anymore. And I got to be honest, the older that I get, I sit here and think about 20 years as voice of the Riders. This son of a gun covered the team for 45 years. It's ungodly. When Darren, think about that. Think about it.
Yeah. It is like when you think about multiple careers that you've had. I mean, if he, what was it, 1969 that he started covering the team and covering the league and broadcasting?
I read that, but I think it was 66. I think it was 66. And by the way,
he didn't come on my radar till I met you, 2015.
Yeah, that's hard for me to believe, but yeah. What I don't like is how fast the world spins. I'm sorry, I need to take over. I hate the way the world spins. People don't know what this man did. He was the voice of the Riders from 1972 to 1982-ish, and people don't even remember that. So, yeah, you know, and now he hasn't been on the show for a year, 2 years, and now people, they don't know enough about him. So you're about to find out about him. And if you see why I talk the way I do, he's my surrogate dad. Him and my dad graduated Luther College together, 1955. All the stories are amazing. Well, you're going to see what this guy's all about. And Darren put this together. So great job, Moose. And this is our tribute to John Frenzy.
John Frenzy's here. How are you, buddy?
Pretty good. I think I'm pretty good. I'm startled by what happened with Mr. Smith there. Should be a very exciting year in the Western Conference.
Very much so. Again.
That's not fair to him. He's trying hard. He's a good guy, but he says that, oh boy, you got to think, holy God, what's happening? The world's coming to an end. But they got to say something.
What your college bowl game name is, the last restaurant you ate at, and the last thing you bought.
It's Mr. Mike Onion Soup Bowl.
I thought it was steak.
Onion soup.
He changed it.
But that's good, eh?
We gotta re-engrave the damn trophy. Between Liberty and Texas A&M.
Yeah, that's right.
He had a colorful outfit on today, a train conductor's hat, and his pajamas. John, why do you like doing that so much?
It's just fun. I don't know. It's just fun. You keep me going. I got to have a different kind of dress each week. And I've done pretty good. You got to admit, I've done pretty well.
We didn't. So we were the only league of any major nation, major concept that wasn't playing football last year. And we can't let that happen again this year. Have 2 years in a row. Otherwise, the league is gone, I feel. He's a great Rough Rider fan, a great fan of the CFL. And I know I can't walk down the street without 2 or 3 people talking to me who I don't know. And they let me know they want the CFL back. They loved it. And they tell me stories about loving the CFL.
Where are you sitting? With Tom Hanks?
Yeah, no, with Lippard and Shep. I mean,
Leopard and Shep. Okay. Lip and Shepherd.
Lip and Shepherd.
You always say that. You walking around South Regina last night without your shirt on. What happened last night?
I took it off and walked down the street here, just here, with my dog. In our little area here, so he's exaggerating a bit. Well, one of my buddies in the car talking and whistling at me, and his wife was whistling at me too. Then they got in a fight.
Oh, I bet, because she was whistling. Yeah. I've seen Lynch shirtless, and it's something to behold, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, that was a great one for the Saskatchewan Rough Riders.
Sure was.
They think they're going to have a dynasty from what I've heard.
Who?
Guys I've talked with.
In Winnipeg?
Yeah. That's right. And you see people everywhere you go every day, about 10, 15 people, I do too. And they all come around to saying, what about the football season? They really care.
Francie, we're going to let you go. People have loved this so much.
We're all capable of doing more. more speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the City of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Who? Easton Stick? That's a hockey stick. Easton Stick. Or at least it was at one time. And Aidan O'Connell? These guys aren't even household names in their own house. This is not, and not to mention both teams are 5-8. AFC West battle. Give me a reason, Darren, to watch this game.
I can't.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, here we go, everybody. Welcome to Hour 2 of a Football Friday. We are live on Game Plus Television, brought to you by a variety of sponsors. Plus WQEE Radio, but off the top of my head, Sober Carpenter, Bet Regal, Common Crown Brewing Company out of Calgary, Overtime, Hockey Lanes, Landmark Cinemas. I got to stop before I forget somebody. Let's bring in the Moose, my guy. My Dale Mike writes me, who, by the way, it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Mike. Hey. I'll spare you all from singing happy birthday. He's texted me and says, I got back from my walk in time to turn on your show and see the end of the tribute to John Lynch. Thanks for doing that. Well, it was Darren, not me. And you, I thanked you in our Facebook post and you took your name out. Now's not the time to be humble, Darren. You put all this work into it, and I don't want people to think it was me. Moose put that together. From our audience, Jack in Vulcan, Alberta says, outstanding, Moose. From Allie in Texarkana, she says, I missed out on seeing him on your show, but he had the best laugh. He had the best laugh. Great job on the tribute, Moose. That's from Allie. Jeff the Stamps fan says, rest in peace, Frenzy. A great man indeed. From Brian in Hudson's Bay, he writes in, he says, great tribute to John. He was one of a kind. From Herb in Melville, he says, nice tribute, Rod. We'll miss his commentary. Well, it is under the RP Show banner, but Darren did this one. So, hey, you got to give credit where it's due. And by the way, that's a rare thing. Somebody wrote in here earlier. Okay, to get back on point, we're going to play a real fun bowl game thing here coming up that you don't even know we're going to do, Moose. But Kevin the Medium, the biggest Canucks fan I know, wrote in and just said they just want some credit. The Canucks fans just want some credit that they've won 4 in a row and they're the top team in Canada. Darren, can you please, because I apparently am speaking a language that they don't understand, so maybe you can, don't be Leon Lett and start celebrating at the 1 yard line. Unless I don't. What are you doing, Vancouver fans? Pipe down. Unless I'm wrong. What do you think? You're a Leaf fan, so you guys trademarked this.
Hey, it's it's fun, and it's nice to celebrate. Look at you're doing well. You're the best team in Canada. I've said that this week. I continue to say that Vancouver's the best team in Canada. But forget about the 1 yard line, Rod. We're not even there at midfield. They just broke off a 15-yard run, but they're at midfield, right? Still got to finish the drive. I mean, you're not scoring any points, let alone kicking a field goal from midfield. But you know what? It's as good as you can feel. You should be happy. But there's a reason we see the memes with the Vancouver Canucks on the top of the cartoon podium already popping the champagne. And everybody else is looking at them like, what are you guys doing? You know, you got to win first before you can pop the champagne. But still, you can be happy.
Right. And I'm not telling them not to be happy. What I'm saying is keep it to yourself, because we don't want to hear it. Rubbing it in our face is, what are you doing? So anyways, lots of comments coming in still on the John Frenzy tribute. And by the way, just so everybody knows, because I've got people writing me going, you know, funeral services, celebration of life for John Frenzy. That's not going to happen until the summertime, which has actually made me real happy, because that's the next time that I'll be back in Canada and back in the rectangle. So that works out real well. So I've been in, there's a difference between being family and being like family. And I'm like family, but I'm not family. And I've been there with my own parents at the end of life. I respected the family's privacy and stayed the hell out of it and just kind of followed their lead. And it was the family last week that said, go ahead and tell the world, because that's what John would want. So that's why I tweeted it and triggered the whole thing. As you can now see, the man has been given a tribute worthy of a king, and he is a king. So it's all worked out real nicely. Before we play this fun bowl game, I will say this, because the CFL schedule only comes out once a year, and it's a Football Friday, and I said I got all the time in the world for the CFL talk on a Football Friday, even all winter. Just not on other days that we have other things planned. Number one, Jim Barker said last hour that he's heard Jason Shivers is going to the Edmonton Elks as their defensive coordinator. Jim Barker broke the news. Discuss amongst yourselves. Natasha in Winnipeg writes in, and she says the CFL commissioner was a jerk for not sharing that the schedule was coming. Then she says, you're forgiven. I'm not upset. There's a lot of ways to skin a cat, or what's the phrase that you preferred that I used? Do you remember this? What's the phrase you wish that so I don't upset the PETA people?
Let's remember, this is the PETA post.
There's more than one way to. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say it was PETA that said this. I didn't bring it up. I brought it up as a joke, but PETA fed cat.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's more than one way to feed a cat. Now, I would not spring the schedule on our fans, the fans, as a surprise. I saw a few people tweeting about it the night before. To be honest, I would have a big schedule release party. The NFL does it, but nothing's original. They say that the NHL has ripped off the Global Series from what the NFL's done. Who cares? Do it. It's working for the NFL. Is it too much to ask to do a schedule release party? And Nobody cares about Winnipeg and Regina, Rod. Maybe that's true, but you got to start somewhere. Shark Club, downtown Vancouver for a BC Lions draft schedule release party, or Toronto for Argos fans. Am I pounding oats up a dead horse's ass with this, or am I on to something? What do you think?
You're onto something. And when you say only Winnipeg and Saskatchewan care, that's because nobody else does these types of things. You need to start doing these things to get people excited. And I don't care if you have 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 or 40,000 people at a scheduled release party. Invite your season ticket holders. Make it a meet and greet with your coach or a top player that you bring in. I did see, the teams obviously knew this was coming because they had some videos ready to go, as generic as they were, but they still had them ready.
The Argos one's great.
The Argos one's great. All. Okay, I got to watch the Argos one. But I liked Winnipeg's with the AI generated. That was pretty good. So bravo, Winnipeg. But again, we didn't know this was coming. It would be great if we woke up like Christmas morning thinking, hey, we're going to get a schedule today. Like that would have been great to have 48 hours notice. But I think the league probably didn't have a lot of notice either, which I understand, but it's just unfortunate because it could be so much more.
So the bowl season, moving on to the bowl season thing. I'm reading from a Wire story, and this is fun. Bowl season is becoming increasingly complicated. To be clear, you should watch every bowl game. When you're down to about 40 college football games before the season ends, each should be savored. But with so many players opting out or jumping into the transfer portal, and with coaches changing jobs, the teams that show up to play in the bowls often don't look much like the ones that played during the regular season. So why watch? Well, we've got you covered with picks and available lines from Bet Regal, our exclusive betting partner. I'm not going to give you the lines, but let's start with Saturday's lineup. The very first bowl game, Darren, is the Myrtle Beach Bowl in Conway, South Carolina. It's Georgia Southern versus Ohio. Ohio minus Curtis Rourke, who's entered the transfer portal and gone to Indiana. The Wire story says, why watch? Well, you can't watch them all if you don't watch the first one. Obviously, we don't have time to watch all 43 bowl games, but I continue with the fun stuff here. Thursday, December 21st, the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl. Right here in Boca Raton, it's the South Florida Bulls against the Syracuse Orange. Why watch? Well, last time, most of us saw USF. The Bulls were giving Alabama fits on a rainy September day in Tampa Bay. They're talking about national television. They went on to have a big turnaround season under first-year coach Alex Golish, going 6-6 after 1-11 last year. That's still probably not enough to get everybody watching, but I'll be at the game, and we're hoping to do a Boca broadcast for a second consecutive year. And the games that we all care about, Rose Bowl, it's your Michigan against my Alabama. So we'll have to have a side bet. Crimson Tide favored by 1.5. That's on New Year's Day in Pasadena, California. They're picking Alabama to win 26-23. And our friend Joe Madden said last week on this show the winner of the Rose Bowl will win the Natty. I'm down. And then finally, Darren, the Sugar Bowl has number 2 Washington versus number 3 Texas. Why watch? Michael Penix Jr., Quinn Ewers, Xavier Worthy, playmakers everywhere, and top-notch play callers, and Longhorns coach Steve Sarkisian, and Washington offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb. They're picking Texas to win. So pretty hard not to get excited about this stuff.
Yeah, for me, that's the most exciting time. I'm curious to see how, the Oregons, Georgias, Ohio States do in their bowl games. But you're right, like Caleb Williams isn't going to play for USC, so do I really care? Is this really USC playing in a bowl game? It doesn't feel like it. But the Rose Bowl, the 2 national semis, those are going to be full on. Most players will play, if not all of them, because those teams have very, very few transfers. I don't think Michigan had anybody enter the portal, which is rare. And those other teams, like single digits, 1 or 2 guys, and not even high-end guys. So I'm waiting till January 1st, but over Christmas, you always flip on a bowl game here and there and watch. I have so many memories of being up at whatever time watching. It was always Hawaii in some random bowl game at 11 o'clock at night.
It's 1:11 Eastern, by the way. I just want to point that out. Just turned to 1:12, 11:11 Mountain. So visualize a positive outcome to your current quagmires. See how that works out, because what do you have to lose? So the fun game was with Lynch. Maybe the people watching and listening right now didn't see it near the end of hour one. How many ever years ago we did this? Darren, we've been doing this show for a long time. Today is episode number 1143. But the fun game was the last restaurant you ate at and what you bought, or the last thing you bought. And Lynch, like right out of his mouth, the Mr. Mike's French onion soup bowl. And we were like, that works. I'm trying to think about, I got to be careful with who's watching, because what's the last thing I bought was a Christmas present. But I know for a fact the last restaurant I was at was the Yard House, which isn't that exciting. But people, can you play along? Let's say the last restaurant you ate at and maybe the last thing you ordered? For me, it would be the Yard House Chicken Tenders Bowl.
How about that?
If it was the, I can't let it slip. What's the last thing I bought? It was a Christmas present for Serena. I can't. Somebody will tell her. Doesn't matter whether she's watching or not. Somebody will say. But for you, Darren, where's the last restaurant you went to, and what's the last thing you bought? That's your bowl name.
I haven't been to a lot of restaurants. I think the last restaurant I went is a new place in the Square One Shopping Center, the Sherway Shopping Center, called Italy. And the last thing I bought, last night I picked Leanne and I up a bottle of wine. It was a Valpolicella, Italian wine. So I guess it would be the Italy Valpolicella bowl.
Wouldn't surprise me. Like, wouldn't be inappropriate. I mean, what's more, word salady than the Beef O'Brady Bowl, which I know Danny Barrett won when he was with the UCF Knights. Jeff in Yorkton writes in, he says, the Pizza Hut Ham and Pineapple Pizza Bowl. Listen, I remember when we did that day, because we all got hungry. We're doing this in the Western Canada and Western United States before lunch. It's making everybody hungry for lunch. And that happened the last time. I want to say mine was the Taco Time Burrito Bowl. Remember that? Mind you, I don't get burritos there. It was the Taco Time Crisp Meat Burrito Bowl.
Hot damn.
That's pretty good.
Here we go. Tank, watching in the Energy City, says the Tower Pizza Bowl. Like, I mean, start inscribing the trophy. The Tower Pizza Bowl, because Tower Pizza is king. Hashtag Tower Pizza is king. Funny thing about slogans, right? About slogans. Theirs is, we're the second best pizza. Tower Pizza. Those are my friends. They call me the fifth Saragella. Four brothers that own and operate that restaurant in Estevan, Tower Pizza. And they say, we're the voted number 2 pizza. And everybody says, well, who's number 1? We don't know, but we're number 2.
How about
that? If you noticed, on Sunday, I had to get out of the house, so I went to Bo Camper's Sports Bar. Do you see the comments on the post that I put on our Facebook page? I said, the second largest sports bar in America. And somebody wrote it and said, who's number 1? I said, I don't know, but Bo Camper's is number 2. Da-da-da. Kevin the Medium. What? It works.
It's pretty good. Well, everybody says number 1, number 1, number 1. You're number 1 this, you're number 1 that. It doesn't mean anything anymore. But number 2, man, that stands out.
Exactly.
I remember that.
Who's number 1? Who's number 2? Who's number 1? I don't know, but we're number 2. That's pretty damn good. From Kevin the Medium, the Boston Pizza Spaghetti Bowl. They write themselves. I wish mine was a little more exciting than the Yard House, but we only go to the Yard House. It's the only restaurant we go to. For our own reasons, it's the Yard House Chicken Tenders Bowl. How about this one from Allie in Texarkana? She says, the Loca Luna Chicken Ranchero Bowl.
How about that?
There's not a trophy big enough for that. They got to put it on the side of a bus. Bill Edwards in Regina. The Highway number 1 Roadhouse. And this stupid heart is over the YouTube. Oh, here it is. Highway number 1 Roadhouse and Grill Pizza Bowl. Isn't that the Ice House Tavern? Either way, it's fantastic. Told you we were going to have fun. When we come back, we're going to play NFL Deal or No Deal for Week 15 and more. It is a Football Friday, live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Okay, here we go on a Football Friday, taking you into the weekend. I hope that you're ready for a good one. Gosh knows I am. And it's that time of the week where we prove we're a very serious show here. Very serious sports talk. Hi. On a Football Friday, it's time to play Deal or No Deal for our exclusive betting partner, Bet Regal. Let's bring the Moose in. He is in Toronto. They tell me that is an NFL town. Hi, Moose. You were with the Bet Regal people this week. Was there any talk of getting you a crown, or am I the only one who needs to dress this way on national television and radio in Atlanta? What's happening? Will we ever see you in a crown?
I would wear the crown. I want it on the record that I would wear it, and I would wear it proudly, but there can only be one king, as they've anointed you King Rod, so I have accepted my place in the hierarchy.
I don't believe that there can only be one king. I believe there can be at least two. But anyways, as you can see, I'm very Clemson-ish with the colors here today. I tell you what, as we talk about bowls, okay, the Fiesta Bowl that I saw in Phoenix was Washington versus New Mexico State. And interestingly enough, that's the thing about bowl games. Braden Lenius was playing for Washington in that game as a tight end, the guy that would go on to be a high draft choice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. You never know. Watch these games and pay attention. These players do pop up down the line. And then I did see Clemson play Alabama, but that was the national championship in Phoenix, and that was awesome too. Anyways, with regards to our fun bowl question, the last place you ate at and the last thing you ordered followed by bowl, that's your bowl game name. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says the 7-Eleven Hungry Man Sub Bowl.
How about that?
I can see the commercials already. I can hear the soundtrack to the ads. Old Western television show music. Dun, 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 the 7-Eleven Hungry Man Sub Bowl. Right?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
We're not experts. We're marketers. Wayne in Victoria, BC writes in, he says, I used to love the lasagna meal at Houston Pizza in Regina. It definitely stuck to my ribs. LOL. Yeah, and I would order it with pepperoni in it. You haven't lived, sir, till you've had lasagna with pepperoni in it at Houston Pizza. The Houston Pizza Lasagna Bowl. We should be writing these down.
They're pretty good.
Okay. Anyways, we always have fun every week playing NFL Deal or No Deal for our official and exclusive betting partner, Bet Regal. I give Darren the betting lines from Bet Regal. He decides whether he takes the bet or not, and I agree or disagree. So we start. Don't forget Saturday games beginning this weekend. Minnesota at Cincinnati. The Bengals are favored by 3. Deal or No Deal?
I'll take the deal and the Bengals to keep winning and pushing for the playoffs.
That's two of us. Another quarterback change for the Vikes, and the Bengals are on a roll. Deal from both of us. Pittsburgh Steelers at Indianapolis Colts. The Colts favored by 1.5. Narrow line. Deal or no deal?
No, I'm going to go no deal. I don't like Pittsburgh, but I like Mike Tomlin, and they'll find a way.
That's two of us. Denver Broncos, who are on a roll at Detroit. The Lions favored by 4.5. Deal or no deal?
I'll take a deal because I like Dan Campbell coming off a loss.
Again, that's two of us. You're reading my diary. Tampa Bay at Green Bay. The Packers favored by 3.5. The games are meaning a lot. Packers favored by 3.5 at Lambeau over Tampa. Deal or no deal?
You got a deal. It's at home. I'll take Green Bay.
Yeah, me too. Pains me to say it. New York Jets here at Miami. The Dolphins favored by 9.5. Deal or no deal?
I mean, Zach Wilson looked good in this last game, but I will say deal because I think you're going to see an angry Dolphins team after the Monday night loss.
Despite a short week, I agree. Dolphins will roll. Tommy DeVito and the New York Giants at the New Orleans Saints. The Saints favored by 6. Deal or no deal? Saints by 6 over Tommy DeVito and the Giants.
Yeah, no deal. I think give me the cutlets.
I'm going with the G-Man, and I'm going for lunch with Chris Sanford this afternoon. Houston at Tennessee. The Titans favored by 3. Deal or no deal?
Yeah, no C.J. Stroud. I'll take the deal. And Tennessee.
This is the first road favorite. The Falcons favored by 3 at Carolina. Deal or no deal?
A deal there, too. Atlanta is in a battle for that division.
Falcons will roll. Chicago Bears at the Cleveland Browns. Browns favored by 3. Deal or no deal?
I'm loving Joe Flacco, man, but I think Justin Fields is out to prove he wants to be the Bears quarterback long term. Bears win.
Okay, no deal from Darren. I'm taking the deal. I've become a Browns fan. Kansas City Chiefs at the New England Patriots. Chiefs favored by 8. Deal or no deal?
You got a deal there, too. I think they'll win double digits.
They got a lot to atone for. San Francisco at Arizona. The 49ers favored by 12.5 at State Farm Stadium. Deal or no deal?
No deal. I don't like the big spread. I think it'll be closer than that, but yeah, it's a tough one.
Cardinals are coming off the mat with Kyler Murray. I'll say no deal as well. Washington Commanders at the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams favored by 6.5 at SoFi. Deal or no deal?
Deal for me there, too. They look like a better team, even though they lost in overtime last week.
Interesting one here. The Dallas Cowboys rolling, going into Buffalo, and the Bills are favored by 2. Deal or no deal?
Everybody's picking Buffalo, and they say if the Bills win, that Josh Allen should be one of the front runners for MVP. I'm not buying it. I'm going to say Dallas will win the line of scrimmage and win the football game.
Yeah. To me, it shouldn't be close. I don't get how the Bills are favored at home. So, yeah, no deal from either one of us. Baltimore, the top team in the AFC, at Jacksonville. Ravens favored by 3. Deal or no deal?
Yeah, the Ravens are a better football team. I think they'll win. I'll take the deal.
And on Monday Night Football, the Philadelphia Eagles at the Seattle Seahawks. The Eagles favored by 3. Deal or no deal?
No deal. I'm selling my stock in the Philadelphia Eagles right now, so no deal for me. I'll take the Seahawks.
Deal from me, no deal from Darren. Folks, sign up today at betregal.ca, and 'tis the season. Check out their 12 days of free Christmas bets. Check it out right now, betregal.ca. Okay, the breaking news today from the NFL. Brandon Staley fired as head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. I'll tell you what, it's a little different where you live in Toronto. Actually, it's a lot different than where I live because it's all NFL all the time. And when they're not talking about the NFL, they're talking about college. It's still coming up. It's still coming up, the college football playoff and FSU snub. But I kind of wonder about this Josh Allen thing. The Bills fired their offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey, what is it, a month ago now? And to me, it's not like Josh Allen has become a different quarterback. Everybody was saying he got Dorsey fired. Allen got Dorsey fired. And now they're talking about him as a potential MVP. What am I missing? Or is that just, am I paying too much attention to the noise?
Maybe a little bit. You're maybe paying a little too much attention to the noise. I mean, Buffalo is just an interesting team. They didn't just become a bad football team overnight, but they were losing games early in the year. And we were trying to figure out why, bad mistakes at bad times, but they still have the weapons. Josh Allen is still an elite quarterback in the National Football League. And when they're rolling and playing physical and smart, they're a really hard football team to beat. And they're gathering a little bit of momentum right now. And in Buffalo, in the cold, it's a tough place to play still. So I think all those things factor that into being favored over Dallas. But what a test for the Cowboys. Tough game. Late in the season, on the road. So this could be a real litmus test to see if the Cowboys are really Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, it's funny how every year we talk about the same things, and it's almost like we forgot. Here we are, December. Weather is a thing, right? Cowboys playing in Texas, practicing in perfect conditions. Dolphins, the same thing. Do you think maybe the Bills being favored by 2 has as much to do with the weather? I mean, the Cowboys are rolling, man. They just humiliated Philadelphia last week in Week 14, and now they're underdogs. Weather's got to be a factor in that, I would think.
Weather, playing at home, absolutely. Style of play. The Cowboys have historically had a little trouble going, that far and playing against the AFC. I think that factors into it a little bit too when you get the cross-conference games. But this is as much of a pick'em game as I can imagine between two. These are two heavyweights in the National Football League late in the season.
By the way, regarding that CFL schedule, because this is still where the CFL fans come to talk even in the offseason, Chris in Heidelberg, Ontario, watching on Game Plus TV, writes in and he says, finally, the Riders have come back to Southern Ontario. The dad/daughter games for us are back on in 2024. Maybe we'll see Moose there. Were you clamoring to get the Argo scheduled and see when Saskatchewan was there, Moose? Can we confirm or deny today that you'll be at that game next summer?
We cannot confirm nor deny. I will not give you my flight details or my travel plans or my GPS coordinates. But you know what? Actually, it would be fun. And it would be fun to connect with people who are traveling into that game. So as we get closer, maybe we can make a plan to do a little tailgate outside BMO.
There you go, Chris, in Heidelberg, Ontario. Regarding our fun bowl game that we're playing, what's the last restaurant you ate at and the last item you ordered, plus bowl? Jim in Balgony, Sask writes in and he says, the Mad Greek Dry Rib Platter Bowl. And yes, now I'm hungry. Ooh, those boneless Greek ribs. I'll tell you something. They don't make them anywhere in the world like they do in southern Saskatchewan, Regina, and Moose Jaw. I'm telling you that for free. You can't even, you wouldn't, if you walk into a restaurant anywhere else and ask for boneless, dry Greek ribs, they would look at you like you were from Mars. So it's a Regina and a Moose Jaw thing. Be very proud of the fact you have them. Wayne in Victoria, BC writes in, he says, hi, Rod, I'm happy to have known John Frenzy, and I feel fortunate to have had him as a friend. That was a great tribute to a great broadcaster and human being. That was from Darren Moose Dupont. If you missed it, everybody, we aired it at the very last thing at the tail end of hour 1. Moose, you did that. I'll say one more time, kudos on that fantastic job. Governor, you have a great weekend. Thanks for your efforts today. It's been a fun show.
You bet. Have a great weekend.
You too. Special guests coming up next as we go out on the video chat line. Stick around, everybody, on a Football Friday. We'll be right back here on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I'm Bridget Lacroix. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
The RP show continues, and when we say Fridays are reserved for football and the gridiron, we mean it. Today we've been talking NFL, bowl season, a lot of Canadian football, and now we're going out to Moose Jaw. I hope I have this right, from SaskSelects football, because all they've been talking about is Coach Z. Coach Z joins us on the video line. Am I saying this right, Coach Stefanovic? Zeljko Stefanovic, am I saying that right, Zeljko?
Absolutely. No, that's perfect, man.
Wow. I got one thing right today. Coach Z, from SaskSelects football, would you please tell our audience today what's going down in Moose Jaw at Yara Center?
Well, there's lots. I mean, we start, like, our program essentially starts in November, early November, and we run this year right in through April. So we've been running this program. This is now our 12th season. Running it right out of the Yara, right in Moose Jaw. And this coming January, from the 11th to the 14th, is we're having a tournament. So, but let me just back up a sec, Rod. By the way, that trip we did to John Lynch was phenomenal. That was, being a Regina guy, it's definitely a voice that's recognizable. So, nice work, man.
Thank you. We got a great staff.
What we do, Rod, is we have a long-term athletic development program that's based in football, and we train with the kids, young as 10 to as old as grade 12 kids. So we train with the kids. We help them develop their fundamental skills in football. So our practice weekends are every second weekend, and sometimes it's every weekend. So kids come together from all over the province, and we work together as teams. And then once a year, we travel somewhere to the U.S. where we take part in an 11-man 4-down football tournament. So we've traveled from Vegas all the way to Florida. This year, we're going back to Florida in February. We're going to be in Haines City, which is just outside of Orlando, for a huge tournament. And that's going to be kind of near the tail end of February. But prior to that, the kids are going to be, this is kind of a tune-up tournament for us going to Florida and then subsequently to Germany. But we have a huge event in Moose Jaw, January 11th to the 14th, where this year close to 1,000 1,000 football players are going to get together in the city of Moose Jaw along with their families, and we're going to take part in a 4-day tournament. So, ages from 10U all the way up to grade 10s, 11s, and some 12s are going to be playing. And the really groovy part, man, this year is that, well, first of all, IKS is doing the live streaming, so anybody's going to be able to tune in and watch it on YouTube. And the other cool thing is that we're having teams from California, from the LA area, that are going to be at our tournament with a 15U age division team. And then we're also having three teams from Boston, Massachusetts, that are actually making the trip all the way to Moose Jaw, believe it or not, and they're going to take part in our tournament. So that's a first. And then, of course, our teams from Western Canada. So, like, our program is kind of taken hold. We have a program at the University of Alberta. They have 4 teams that they're going to be bringing. Then we have a team from Airdrie, Alberta, that's going to be bringing a 12U team, which is so cool. And then, of course, Manitoba is bringing, I think, 4 teams as well. So at the different age levels. So it's going to be wall-to-wall football at the Yar Center, man, in middle of January. We convert the entire place into an NFL-size football field. We put the lines down, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Coach Z, what is the name of the event, if you don't mind?
It's called Battle on the Prairies. And if anybody wanted to tune in, like there's some video from last year that IKS did because they did the streaming for us. I got to tell you, man, the really cool thing is that last year we were the first ever youth football team that actually had a coach's challenge. So the ref we had a red flag. The ref made a call, and then one of the coaches challenged it. So the ref actually went to the video replay booth and looked at and overturned his own call. So it was actually really cool.
You wonder why refs hate video replay. They're proven now to be wrong at times. But, I got to say this, Coach Z, a lot of events start and they fizzle out. For yours to start and then grow and grow and grow to get to this point is a testament to that you guys know what you're doing, and my home province knows what they're doing when it comes to sports and football. But what would you attribute to it becoming this size? Because that's saying a lot.
Yeah, great question, Rod. Like, I think the biggest thing is that we bring value to the families, and as far as the kids and their development. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Like this area, like this group of grade 12s that came out of our program this year has been absolutely amazing. Like, I mean, this is probably one of the highest recruited areas in the country right now. And I mean, if you look at the list of kids that actually came out of our program that are being recruited all over the country, I just actually got a list of 24 kids that have already committed to different universities, and the Thunder, and some of the other junior programs in the country, in BC. I mean, I get daily calls from coaches that are willing that want to come out to our tournament and look at the kids, because the talent of football here, Rod, is absolutely through the roof, man. And I've always said, the kids in this province, the football that's played in this province at the minor football level, and of course, I mean, obviously we like to think that we have a lot to do with that, because the kids spend a lot of time with us on the development side. The talent here is just as good as it is anywhere in the country, if not in North America. And like when you look at the 4 kids that we have right now playing in the NCAA, and I mean the kids that are playing from all the way from St. FX to UBC that have come out of our program that are playing at the next level. I mean, that's the proof in the pudding, man. The U18 winning 4 Canada Cup. I mean, just think about it, man. We got like one of the smallest provinces in the country, and we're going out there and rinsing every other province at the Football Canada Cup, both at the U18 level and the U16 level. Man, we had 24 kids on that team that came out of our program, right? And I'm not just saying that we're the ones that are the root cause behind that. But I mean, obviously, spending all that time with these kids throughout the winter, them honing their craft and developing their skills, doing stuff that they normally wouldn't get in their normal football programs. Like we spent a ton of time teaching kids to tackle, and that's kind of been the crux of our program, is just teaching those kids those basic skills, so that when the quarterback does throw them the ball, they can catch it, and it's not going to be it's not going to be a fumble or something like that. So yeah, I think that's kind of, and sorry for rambling, I kind of get excited about this stuff because I think we've had so much to do with football in this province over the last 12 years. So I certainly appreciated the question.
Of course. Well, I kind of knew the answer, but I wanted to give you the opportunity to say it yourself. But when people see a guy from Medicine Hat win the John Cornish Trophy as the NCAA top Canadian, like, how did that happen? This is how it happened. We now have coaches donating their time. We finally had the facilities so the kids can train year-round. This is how it happens, and it wouldn't happen without guys like yourself. And that Yara Center is something to behold in and of itself. So January 11th to the 14th, Battle on the Prairies. You can watch it here through IKS on YouTube. Coach Z, thank you, man. Happy holidays, and thanks for all you do and have done and will do.
Thanks so much, Rod. Have a great weekend, man.
You too. We'll be right back with Overtime after this, a sports update and your last chance to get your comments and questions at me on this Football Friday. We are live on Game Plus Television Network across all of Canada and 31 U.S. states. WQEE Radio in Atlanta, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Here we go with Overtime, a proud presentation of our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. And trust me, Randy and Michelle say they are proud sponsors of the Overtime segment, where skill and fun collide. Northeast 28th Avenue in Calgary. Again, where skill and fun collide. It's Top Golf meets hockey, batting cages for hockey. If that does that sound like something you'd be interested in? I love that place. Northeast 28th Avenue. Give them a shout out. Look them up online. Their social media channels, Overtime Hockey Lanes, and tell them Rod sent you. I tell you what, there are a few things that give me as much pleasure as playing this bowl game that we only do once a year. And again, it's name the last restaurant you went to and what you ordered and put bowl at the end of it. That's your bowl game. There are 43 bowl games kicking off tomorrow with the Myrtle Beach Bowl. And we had a lot of fun with Jim Barker an hour ago talking about why you should watch them, what he's most looking forward to, why it's not what it used to be, but why it's still a good thing. Paul in Humboldt writes in and he says, Johnny's Bistro Benny Skillet Bowl. Mine's the Yard House Chicken Tenders Bowl. And we only go out once a week and we go to the Yard House. It's 50% off appetizers and it's unbelievably cheap. Order this big feast at 50% off, all for less than $30. God bless America. Ryan in Toronto says, another amazing Football Friday. Thank you, Rod and crew. Wayne in Victoria, BC, what a fantastic Football Friday. Have a great weekend, Rod Squad. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, what is the RP Show holiday schedule looking like, Rod? We'll have programming right through between Christmas and New Year's. Obviously, off Christmas Day, that is a Monday. Boxing Day is our World Juniors preview special, which will air on the Tuesday and Thursday. And then Wednesday of that week between Christmas and New Year's is a year-end show that Darren and I will be on, just talking about all the biggest stories of the year. Hockey, football, baseball, whatever you want. I guess I should start putting some work into that, thinking about it. And then on the final Football Friday, it's our best of the year interviews, and there are some good ones, some good football ones, like Ricky Williams, Dan Giancola just a couple weeks ago. Some good ones. And of course, we got to throw in the Ted Nolan, the Cody Fajardo, Ryan Husker, the head coach of the Flames, coming down to Century Downs. So all of our best of is that final Friday of the year. Chad in Lethbridge writing in and says, great show, Roddy. Just went to the Chopped Leaf Chicken Caesar Salad Bowl. Write it down. Have a great weekend, my friend, and don't forget to keep your stick on the ice. Oh, I know, red, green. Hey, a sports update before we go off the air on this Friday. And from the text line, David in Winnipeg says, bright lights of the NFL are tough to play in. Quarterbacks can go from elite to delete so quickly these days. Yes, they can, but that's what makes the story of Tommy DeVito, Tommy Cutlett, so special. Breaking news out of L.A. today, Coach Brandon Staley and General Manager Tom Telesco were fired by the L.A. Chargers this morning after one of the worst losses in franchise history. Chargers made the playoffs last season, as you know, but are 5-9 this year, including a 63-21 loss at Las Vegas Thursday night. Staley finally out with the Chargers. Thursday night was a wild one in the NHL. Steven Stamkos scored 4 goals, and the Tampa Bay Lightning beat the Oilers 7-4. The Leafs scored 5 goals in the third period to erase a 5-0 deficit, only to lose 6-5 to the Blue Jackets in overtime. The Calgary Flames lost to the Minnesota Wild in a shootout, and the Ottawa Senators fell to the St. Louis Blues. Sens are the only Canadian team in action Friday night. They play their second game of a 5-game road trip tonight against the Dallas Stars. Ottawa is 11-13 this season, while Dallas 16-8-3. The Toronto Raptors host star point guard Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks tonight at Scotiabank Arena. It's the second of 2 straight games against the Hawks. After the Raptors won 135-128 on Wednesday, Atlanta's lost 5 straight and trailed Toronto by a half game in the standings. The sports update is brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. In theaters now, Silent Night from legendary director John Woo and the producer of John Wick comes this gritty revenge tale of a tormented father who witnesses his young son die when caught in a gang's crossfire on Christmas Eve. Silent Night redefines the action genre with visceral, thrill-a-minute storytelling, and also brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca. Where did I see it here? Carlos in Indianapolis checking in. He says, great show, everyone. Once again, the fastest 2 hours has flown on by. Wayne in BC says that sounds like a great schedule of year-end shows. Oh, indeed, it will be. Looking forward to the holiday season. Looking forward to doing it with you, however, with some great shows. Allie in Texarkana says, great show today, RP and crew. Have a terrific weekend, everyone. Thank you, Allie. And thank you for listening to that amateur football interview there, which she gets a lot of that talk in Texas, no doubt. We got a little over a minute. You can fire in a message now, 902-518-3033. I went through the entire NHL schedule tonight and the NBA, and we played our Week 15 NFL Deal or No Deal. So what I will ask you to do is vote on our poll for our friends at Key Auto Group. And I don't know if the interview with Jim Barker changed your mind or not. Poll questions brought to you by Key Auto Group. At Key Auto Group, we're driven by safety. Experience peace of mind with our comprehensive multi-point inspections. Visit keyautogroup.ca for automotive excellence. The question is, will Curtis Rourke ever play in the Canadian Football League? And let's see what we're saying on Twitter here. 67% of you saying, yes, he will. Yes, he will. I should have put that to Jim Barker. But Curtis Rourke, who was the top prospect for this spring's CFL draft, now not even eligible anymore because he's coming back for one more year of college, but doing it with Indiana, where he'll get reportedly 7 figures in NIL money. Woo. It's been a great week of shows. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you Monday at noon Eastern here on Game Plus and Key Radio.
McFly, hello.